Well, it rained like a cow peeing on a flat rock last night. So that makes everything a little wet and muddy this morning. So the perfect thing to do on a wet and muddy fall morning is do a little chainsaw milling. So I'm gonna go get the chainsaw ready and I'll do some cutting here. All right, I got my saw in my high-tech, highly organized shop here. And there's a few things I noticed I didn't cover in the last video, so I figured I would go over them real quick here. The first is, whenever I change chains or take the bar off and put it back on, I always flip it to the opposite way that it was, just so it wears evenly. Last time I had it on like this, so this time it'll go on like this. And I'll get her in the chain screwed on there real quick. All right, another thing in relation to the bar, you're gonna wanna, before you put the chain on, they sell a little tool that you run down the groove in the bar and it cleans out all the dirt and debris. Unfortunately, I left that tool at home because I cleaned this bar up before I loaded it in the truck, and I must have left the tool sitting on my workbench. But before you put the chain on, you definitely want to clean that groove out in the bar. All right, since we're on the subject of the bar, figured I'd talk about something that sits on the bar, the chain. Basically, say you're gonna sharpen it in the field. Well, I never really have to sharpen mine in the field. It seems to only go dull when I'm in the woods by the trees, but all right, anyhow, what I like to use is this fancy little tool from Steel. All right, comes in multiple sizes, just because you have multiple size chains. You know, like for example, because this is a 3/8 chain, so you need a 5/32 file to sharpen them teeth. Say you had a .325 pitch chain, for that you need a 3/16 file. All right, and this thing also has, for the depth gauge or the rakers, it has a file that files them down. Because if you just sharpen the tooth and you don't cut on the rakers a little bit there, what's going to happen is over time, after multiple sharpenings, your chips are going to get smaller and smaller, and you're just going to be less efficient. You're going to get less of a cut each time. And say you go the other end of the spectrum and you cut them, you decide you're going to file them down so you get a bigger bite. Well, then you're going to be super hard and taxing on your engine here, and it increases the likelihood that this thing's going to want to kick back and smack you in the lips, which would definitely not be good. All right, now I'll show you how I use this little sharpener. Okay, couldn't be simpler. They got a picture of your chainsaw, picture of your chain, direction they want you to push it. Okay, and that's on both sides of this little tool. So first thing you're going to want to do, you prop your chain, your bar up against a log out in the woods there. Then you're going to want to hit your brake so your chain don't move. And then I usually have a little dry erase marker, and I hit the top of the tooth with it so I know when I've went all the way around the chain, so I know when to flip and do the other side. But to use this tool, it's pretty simple. You line this up so it's parallel with your bar. You just set it like that, hold it level. I usually hit each tooth twice, seems to be about good. You look at it, woo! You can shave with that. That's pretty nice. All right, I'll go through and I'll sharpen this chain up, and then I'll put on the Alaskan mill and I'll get cutting. All right, this is the first tree we're gonna turn into boards. This tree went down in a storm we had earlier this summer. There's the stump that it came off of, kind of a big stump, but we're gonna cut that down. If that one's big enough, I won't mind trying to make a beam out of that one. So we'll have to see when we get that far. Pretty nice little area to work in. Plenty of room. There's a few trees I gotta keep an eye on when I'm cutting that stump down. I mean, that one's dead as can be. I gotta make sure, got my head on a swivel when I'm around that one. And that there's another dead one right back there. Otherwise, this area looks like a pretty nice, safe area to work in. All right, I'll get limbing this thing, and we'll go from there. Alright, the first cut is made. I think this is going to be some nice looking boards. I'll set the depth on the mill, and I'll get cutting some boards. All right, on the first log, I got 5 boards that are 8 foot 6 inches long and 1.25 inches thick. And then we got the 2 end pieces that have the bark on. So that ain't too bad a haul. I mean, there's a little bit of blue stain on the boards, but nothing too terrible. There are some clear sections in there, so it leaves open plenty of opportunity for me to decide what I want to build with them, because I won't use these for about a year, so I don't have any intended project in mind. But I find it's great. Having a bunch of wood laying around is a great problem to have. So I'll get cutting on the next section of log here, and we'll see what we can get out of this thing. All right, so I've got the first little 3 pine logs cut. These are 4 of the sides there. And like this one, I cut it actually a little thicker than I normally would, because what I'm picturing for this one and this one is putting some legs on the bottom of that and making little benches. So those are some future benches, and I'll probably make a little video on making them. We have 2 more of the rounds over here, and then I believe we have 11 boards, and they aren't too bad. There's some nice clear spots in there. They already got some blue stain setting in, but there's no wormholes or anything like that, so I'm really happy with it. I'm always excited to see what the inside of lumber looks like. I did not cut the stump down. I was sitting there thinking, and trust me, you got a lot of time to think while you're doing a little chainsaw milling. And I'm thinking it would be a shame not to make a nice beam out of that. and I don't have the stuff up here currently to make a beam out of it. Because what I would use my chainsaw mill and cut the top flat, and then I got a 2x6, and I got a little Granberg mini mill, and I just put the 2x6 on there, and it has like a V track on it, and then I can cut the sides off, and I can finish squaring it up with the regular chainsaw mill. So I'm thinking I'm gonna want to make an 8x8 beam out of that, and then maybe some boards out of, depending on how thick the rounds are and how good a wood the wood is when it gets down to that. But I was taking a break, drinking a soda, and I was looking through the woods here, and before I head over there, I got this pile of branches. Well, it is a woods, and there's a pile here, so it'd be perfectly fine to leave them. But actually what I'm going to do with them in the spring is I'm going to haul the chipper out here, and I'm going to chip them up, and then I'm going to spread them around little pine trees that I planted. So there's more work to be done there. But coming through here, I could see this big old, look like popple tree broke off. So I'm gonna cut a few little popple boards. I've honestly never cut a popple board. People have always told me the wood wasn't that it's so soft and that it splits and cracks and everything like that. So I never went out of my way to cut one up. But I'm sitting here. I have the chainsaw mill, so I'm gonna chop this one up, and I think I'll do these 3 sections. I got a section hidden back there, this one that I got the guide on, and then another 8-foot 6 section. So those 3 are pretty straight, and I suppose maybe eventually I'll cut that down, but not today. I think I'll get these 3 logs cut up and we'll call it. All right, I'll show you what the insides of these look like. All right, I got the popple sawed up here. I only sawed up the 1 log. I was gonna do 3 sections, but looking at the time, I probably gotta quit right now. But that ain't a bad looking wood. I'm sure I'll find a use for it as long as it holds up, and it'll be a good experiment for me. All right, I'm gonna pack my stuff up and get this loaded up on a tractor. All right, not so bad for a morning's work. And the morning would have been wasted anyhow, because all the rain we got, I originally intended to be moving some dirt, and I definitely could not do that. I could have played in the mud maybe, but there wouldn't have been no dirt moving this morning. But all right, here's the haul. This is the pine. This is the popple. And then these are the rounds. I will show you one of the things I make with the rounds. I actually have one hanging on a tree. I'll drive over and show you that. All right, let's see it the way a bird would see it. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Sound effects included. All right, I just wanted to show you this thing. It's getting dark. Hopefully the camera's still picking up. But I wanted to show you one thing you can build with them half rounds from milling. And this is a super simple project. There's plenty of things you can build with them things, but this is probably the easiest. All right, what is it? It's a birdhouse, obviously, right? Super simple to make. You're just cutting the edges flat. I used galvanized nails on the sides and on the top. In the front, I used screws. I drilled holes, put the screws in, and then I made plugs and glued plugs in and sanded them smooth. Something obviously didn't like the size of hole I had, so they decided to make it bigger. These other holes, them are wormholes. Them are there when I milled the log. All right, they didn't go all the way through the board though. That's why I still used them. The bottom is fixed, so you can't clean it through the bottom. When I made this one, I made it, I screwed it to this 3/4 inch thick piece of pine. I think it's 6 inches wide. And basically I got 4 screws holding the birdhouse to that. And that's how you got to clean this thing. You got to take the screws out holding it to the tree. And then you take the 4 screws out and you can swipe the branches out. This one, like I said, it's looking a little worse for wear, but that's because it's over 2 years old, and they've been using the heck out of it. Every year it's been used. I just got done cleaning it. So, and I expect it will gray out more as it gets older. But otherwise, I think it's holding up pretty good. The reason I'm showing you this is because, like I said, it's a super simple project. If you need bird houses at your property, I mean, nothing better than using the byproduct of, I mean, you're getting the boards already, and instead of letting these go to waste, I mean, this is a super simple project you can throw together. And if you're real ambitious, you could batch out these, build like 6 of them, take them to the farmer's market, and you can sell these things 10, 15 bucks all day, depending on your market, maybe even more. But yeah, I just wanted to share this this little simple craft that you can make with the half rounds, because I like it. All right, well, thanks for watching. My dog's eating apples. There's an apple tree over there. Here, I'll show you. All day he searches for these things. I'll help him out. We'll get him a little one here. Got to pick the leaves off. Whoop, I didn't do a very good throw there. Apple eating machine.